you, if you don't mind, to lock in on June 9th, Sunday, 2024, if you can. Do you remember being located at a Starbucks in Fayetteville, Georgia?
Yes.
And the gentleman who is seated in the first row here, the nice-looking young man in the who's now smiling, can you tell, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry, who that person is to you?
My attorney.
Okay, and he has a great reputation.
Yes.
And he's been with you, you said, approximately 15 years. And when I say with you, representing you, and he knows you and your family personally.
Yes.
He has become a lawyer for you, but also a friend to you. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And his name is the Honorable Derek Wright. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. And he was kind enough to put us on a Zoom call at my request. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that was shortly after, in fact, it was later on Sunday, June 9th, 2024. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And during that call, I identified myself as Mr. Jeffery Williams' lawyer. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
All right. And you told me, as well as your lawyer, that you met earlier that day with Prosecutor Love.
Yes.
An investigator who's a female with dark hair. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember her name as you sit here today?
I don't know her name, but I see her in the courtroom.
And is she the very, very kind young lady, third row back, smiling as well?
Yes.
Okay. And she identified herself as a co-worker to District Attorney Love. Is that right?
Yes.
And you freely went there to meet on your own time in Fayette County, right?
Yes.
And you did that to be courteous. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you did that because it's also, you knew you were going to testify and you wanted to tell the district attorney's office any information that they wanted to hear, right?
Yes.
And you also want to learn from them what it's like to testify. Is that all fair to say?
Yes.
And you said earlier on your, it's called a direct examination. It doesn't matter what it's called. When you were being questioned by Ms. Love, you said that she had a cell phone with her. You remember that?
Yes.
Either a laptop, an iPad, or some sort of device.
Yes.
And was she taking notes? Do you remember?
I think she wrote something on her notepad. I don't know what she wrote, but I know she wrote something on her notepad.
And I want to go over with you a couple things that you tell the jurors, whether it's true. And then my second question is going to be whether you told District Attorney Love that, okay?
Yes.
And when I say that, I'm talking about Wednesday, June 9th, Sunday, June 9th, 2024 at Starbucks, okay?
Yes.
Do you remember telling with your lawyer there and the investigator at District Attorney's Office and District Attorney Love that shortly before, days before, the God forbid death of Donovan Thomas?
Yes.
You and a gentleman named Brian Williams, known as Birdman, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
And others, including Jeffrey,
Yes.
were all together.
Yes.
And you were outside in the parking lot of TIG Studios.
If I'm mistaken, I want to say it was TI Studio, not TIG.
That's fine.
Yes.
And you were having a good time.
Yes.
When you told District Attorney Love that you were with Donovan Thomas and Jeffrey, did you make it known that there was no animosity? That's a bad word. Let me change it. Let me ask a different question, okay? Did you make it known that everyone was having a good time?
Yes.
Did you see any type of argument or spat or anger from Jeffrey towards Mr. Thomas?
No.
Did you see any anger or spat or argument from Mr. Thomas towards Jeffrey?
No.
In fact, you observed they were friendly, right?
Yes.
You knew they were good friends, right?
Yes.
You knew that Jeffrey really cared for Donovan Thomas. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
He loved him. He loved
You
him.
you can ask something foundational.
Okay. Did you observe, from your observations, did you observe that Jeffrey liked Donovan Thomas?
Yeah.
He loved him.
Did you observe, from your observations, the demeanor is a bad word too. Did you observe that there was friendship between the two of them?
I watched him hug.
There, rephrase, please. Sustained.
Let me ask you this. When you
Did you see Jeffery Williams show Donovan Thomas signs of affection in your presence?
told that to District Attorney Love,
Yeah.
was your lawyer right there?
Yeah, buddy. I'm getting nice, y'all. What she done did about that? What she done did about that one?
Same Starbucks.
Yes.
Was he there at the same table?
Yes.
Do you remember sitting outside the Starbucks?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see District Attorney Love make any notes when you told her that?
No.
I noticed she didn't ask you about that. Do you remember her asking? Maybe I missed it. Did she ask you about that when her 3 days of questioning you?
No.
Let me ask you this. When you were at that Starbucks on that Sunday, June 9th, 2024, in the afternoon hours, do you remember telling District Attorney Love that on the evening after Donovan Thomas was, God forbid, shot, so it's January 10th, 2015. That's the date I'm locking on, okay?
Yes.
You remember telling her that you were at Jeffrey's home
Yes.
and Kenneth Copeland was there,
Yes.
among other people,
Yes.
and Jeffrey was there.
Yes.
And at some time, Kenneth Copeland was receiving calls, or received a call from the police saying that he was a suspect in this murder or the shooting of Donovan Thomas. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
How did the law get his number?
And that Jeffrey, or Mr. Copeland, was asking, what do I do? You remember that?
Yes.
And Jeffrey said to Mr. Copeland, if you had nothing to do with the killing, you should go and talk to the police.
Yes.
And you told District Attorney Love that, right?
Yes.
In front of the Honorable Derek Wright, your lawyer.
Yes.
In
All you gotta do is say yes.
front of, or I don't know if she's paying attention. I'm not saying she was, but the investigator was around.
She was there.
And do you remember District Attorney Love telling you
Yes.
that she would prefer if you don't state to the jury that Jeffrey told you to take Mr. Copeland to the police department if he was not involved in the murder?
Yes.
Did you ask why?
No, I never asked why.
Will you marry me?
Now, you also said, and it's the truth, and if
Yes.
it's not, you correct it.
Damn. 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 Yo in go mode. I might as well just ask, hey, what he got on? Yo, let me get them J's you got on. Yes.
That you were very close with Donovan Thomas.
Yes.
In fact, your relative, I think cousin, but tell the jurors if I'm wrong, dated Donovan Thomas's relative.
Yes.
Oh.
And Donovan Thomas is close with your mother.
Yes.
What? Donovan Thomas know your mother? Ho.
That you were very close with Donovan Thomas.
Yes.
In fact, your relative, I think cousin, but tell the jurors if I'm wrong, dated Donovan Thomas's relative.
Yes.
And Donovan Thomas is close with your mother.
Yes.
And you told District Attorney Love that?
Yes.
Now, you were asked by District Attorney Love whether you remember anything else anyone said regarding the murder of Donovan Thomas on the night of January 10th, 2015, going into January 11th, 2015. Do you remember that question by any chance?
No, not actually. I don't remember that question.
Okay. Do you remember Jeffrey being distraught? That's a bad word. Being upset or sad at the shooting of Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Your Honor, I object. That calls for
Cap.
Rephrase.
Do you remember ever seeing Jeffrey put out a post, rest in peace, about Mr. Donovan Thomas's death?
About an improper question, about putting facts not in evidence, Mr. Steele. That is putting facts not in evidence.
He asked him what he's saying.
Not only that the court strike the question, but admonish Mr. Steele to not put facts improperly not in evidence before this jury.
Okay. Can you ask some foundational questions, please?
Sure.
And Your Honor, any post made by defendant Williams.
So you're not talking about.
But we could bring in every other post that incriminates these dudes. But we can't ask him about social media posts where he's sending condolences. Yo, that's not fair, y'all. Come on, this lady is dirty, bro. Bro, she presented all that evidence. These people ain't object. Now she want to object at each and every turn when they present something that's not already in evidence. That's when you got a weak case. If your case was strong, you wouldn't even be tripping. Straight up. Evidence versus evidence. That's how you want to present? No, these boys guilty. I ain't tripping about what you could go ahead and dance with all the evidence in the world. I got these boys on some homies and some, What, man, this is phony.
That evening, are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm talking about the morning hours of January 11th, 2015.
All
The
right.
gentleman.
We might need to take this up outside the presence of the jury.
Oh,
Well, I'll come back to it then.
All right.
yeah.
Let me ask you some questions.
Let's cook.
In front of you is State's Exhibit number 444Y there by any chance? It is it's entitled, it's on the letterhead of the Office of the Fulton County District Attorney. It's dated December 27, 2022. Do you see that document?
Yes.
And it should be 7 pages long?
Yes.
Okay. If you can turn to page 3.
Yo, every time Love sit down, she been squeezing mice out the chair. Y'all hear him squeak? She done bodied like 3 to 4 mice. They be like, squeak.
Of 7, I want to ask you some questions about this document. And this is the same document that you've been asked about by Ms. Love, by the Honorable Attorney Sharp, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at the time of entering this guilty plea, December 28th, right before New Year's of 2022, right after Christmas, right?
Yes.
All right. I want to go through the factual acknowledgments. And I'm specifically focusing on Jeffrey, okay?
Yes.
Number 1, it's on page 3 of 7. You remember acknowledging and signing, and the jurors heard and watched your guilty plea before Judge Glanville?
Yes.
You saw that too, okay. Number 1, Young Slime Life, aka YSL, is an organization made up of 3 or more members or associates who share common identifiers that include, but are not limited to, colors, hand signals, and terminology, who have committed crimes intended to increase notoriety, street credibility, and reputation of YSL. You see that?
Yes.
And that's, of course, your initial,
Yes.
Sound like you just described the Red Dogs.
the A and the S. Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury about Jeffrey. I'm focused on Jeffrey. What did Jeffrey benefit
Objection.
from
Cause respect.
any
Bro.
type? If
Objection.
Let me hear the question.
Yes.
All right. Don't answer the question yet, okay?
I got you.
What's the question?
your personal knowledge, when you sign this, tell the jury what Jeffrey benefited
That's outside of the witness's knowledge.
from his personal observation. It's his acknowledgement that the state introduced.
What added?
He know everything the state want to know, but he don't know nothing about what the defense want to know. Make it make sense, Your Honor. Stop playing. Stop playing. You crossing the line. Where you at? You at the 70. What? You at the 70-yard line? Where the hell? How you get at the 70-yard line? Yeah, you ain't right. That ain't even on the field. How the hell you at the 70? Yeah, you leaning, Judge.
Actually did not introduce these parts.
They read this.
They did. Rephrase your question.
Okay. When you sign that, do you have any evidence to share with this jury
No.
that Jeffrey,
No.
Whoa.
Rephrase your question.
did Jeffrey, when you signed that, were you talking about Jeffrey Williams?
No.
Okay. Number 1. I'm still on number 1. I just read
Got
it,
her.
okay? When you were sworn before Judge Glanville, sworn means you take an oath to tell the truth, okay? Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
You were asked questions, right?
Yes.
Did Prosecutor Love ever ask you, tell us what Jeffrey Williams did?
No.
Got him.
Okay.
Mm.
At that point in time, you wanted
Boy,
to go
looked at
home,
the
right?
crowd.
Yes.
That boy looked at the crowd. The boy let it sit with the crowd like it was a good joke. You seen that shit?
Williams did?
No.
Okay. At that point in time, you wanted to go home, right?
Yes.
Hey yo, ho. Who remember me talking about how the state was wasting time and talking in circles and you really get lost and how the defense gonna chop with concise points? Remember I told y'all? I said, yo, when you really eating, bro, you don't need to talk in circles, bro. You talk concise. Like length clearly. Let me start and finish clearly. Like where you like, oh, yeah, that made a point. Oh, another one. You feel me? Look how you doing.
You would have answered all questions.
Objection.
Right.
1 calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Number 2 on page 3 of 7
Yes.
states 444Y. It reads that you have been a member or it says and/or associate of YSL since 2012, right?
Yes.
Now, you told the jury that anyone can join YSL. Is that true?
Yes.
I mean, if I just today said I want to get a tattoo of YSL on my face, is that a problem?
No.
Objection vague, whether or not it's a problem.
Oh,
Is there any type that you know about, like beat-in or initiation to say I'm with YSL?
No.
Do you know personally
Hold y'all.
from your travels, from going to shows and concerts and tours, are people from all over America and throughout the world having tattoos of YSL,
I seen a couple of fans. Yes.
wearing shirts YSL,
Yes.
hats,
Yes.
Hell yeah.
tattoos of Jeffrey on their person?
Yes.
Yeah, you could get it on Amazon still. Hell yeah. You could get fake YSL Slime Life or fake YSL the clothing line. Like it don't matter. It's your liking. Or you could get one that's kind of like a hybrid where you can't tell. You feel me? You don't know if it's the clothing line or they're a thug fan. You feel me? It's just a big YSL thing going on. It's just, who knows?
On issue 3 of that same document, it should read, while associated with YSL and to support and express loyalty to YSL, you, co-defendant Mr. Garlington and Mr. Zachary, appeared in a video, and then there's a parenthesis that says the video, with another person, AS, wherein you brandished a weapon used in a drive-by shooting, and wherein on behalf of YSL, you threatened to harm a person named Kel, a rival gang member who had begun a relationship with your ex-paramour or girlfriend. You see that?
Yes.
Were you asked any questions about what Jeffrey knew about that?
No.
He knew nothing to your knowledge, right?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
Sustained.
On your personal knowledge,
Objection.
on your personal knowledge, did you ever speak with the prosecution? Did they ever want to know, what did Jeffrey Williams know about that?
Objection 1, that calls for speculation. 2, I can approach, Your Honor.
No.
Okay, I mean, it doesn't, that one does not call for speculation, but if you have some other issue, then
I don't need
I'll
to
go
approach,
ahead.
Your Honor. I'm going to continue.
Nah, pipe down. I don't need it to
I would
approach.
rather not stop, because that's all Miss Love does. I'd rather continue. I'll waive that.
Well, we're gonna approach.
Spike the ball. Spike the ball, Brian. Brian, spike the ball. There you go. Look at him. What kind of salamander is he, y'all?
All right, go ahead, Mr. Steele.
What kind of salamander
Mr.
is
Sledge, on number 3 that we were just talking about,
Yes.
on the same document,
Yes.
during your time before Judge Glanville entering the plea and Miss Love was asking you questions,
Yes.
saw the video, audio of that as well.
Yes.
Did Miss Love ever ask you anything about Jeffrey at that point?
No.
And you were under oath at that point?
Yes.
And you were going to answer questions if asked, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to go to number 4, same page.
Yes.
On or about April 28th, 2015, as reflected in Fulton County indictment number, and I'm not going to read it, but it ends in 8994. You see what I did?
Yes.
I just skipped the first bunch of numbers and letters. You and fellow YSL associates, Mr. Garlington and Mr. Zachary, committed a drive-by shooting using a firearm.
he tangy? He a tangy little salamander.
Firearm that you wielded in the video referenced in part 3 of this section, targeting family members of a rival gang. You see that?
Yes.
Okay, and you initialed that, obviously.
Yes.
And again, did Miss Love ask you any questions on December 28, 2022, under oath in front of a court reporter on video, audio about Jeffrey?
No.
Number 5, same page, same document. You and your fellow YSL associates committed the drive-by shooting referenced in section 3 and 4 above on behalf of YSL and to increase the notoriety, reputation, and fear of YSL. Okay?
Yes.
Were you asked anything on December 28, 2022 about Jeffrey?
No.
You would have answered questions asked, right?
Yes.
By this time, April 28, 2015, if you personally know, did Jeffrey launch a tour across the United States of America with Travis Scott?
I think it was around that time, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not for sure.
You went on part of that tour?
Did I go on board? Yes.
I'm part of the tour.
Yes.
And you told the jurors what it's called. Do you remember what you called it?
The rodeo tour.
With the court's permission and your permission, I'd like to approach you with a document, okay?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Ms. Winfrey, may I approach and get that document?
Somebody said he a shiesty little salamander. That's what they called him.
I'm sure he'll show.
All right, this has already been shown. It's been previously marked, partially admitted as on 1/8/24, so it'll be January 8th, 2024. It's Mr. Williams, exhibit number 19.
All right, I'm not sure what you mean by partially admitted.
Parts of it were admitted.
Okay, are you
Not-
going to admit
yes.
for the admission of the rest of it?
Yes, I'm going to see if Mr. Sledge can identify it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to show you item. And I added that earlier. So that's just called an exhibit sticker.
Yeah.
But if you can look at that, you can open it up. Just tell me if you recognize it and if it is accurate. If you don't recognize it, that's fine. And we will, we're going to put it aside, okay?
What do you got? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Watching this on the playback, let me know if,
Yeah, I
if
remember
Brian's still
this.
cooking.
And what is that document, which I believe is number 19 of Jeffery Williams?
This is the booklet.
Put it down until it's admitted.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
This the booklet of the tour on what days and what areas that we was in.
Okay.
Oh my God. Brian still got the tour book? What? That's what that is? Oh my God, we coming home. Oh yeah, we coming home. Remember I told y'all about the receipts from the tours and all, where we be going and how busy I be. That's what book that boy got. Oh man.
Is it look to your memory to be accurate? Meaning, has it been changed in any way? Has it been altered? Or does it look similar to the way that you saw it when you went on that tour?
It looked the same.
Your Honor, I move for the admission of Mr. Williams. It's number 19.
Your Honor, pursuant to 21-801.
For what purpose is this being offered?
The purpose of showing the cities and the states for the certain tour.
And the dates?
That's what it is. That's all it is.
Uh-huh.
It's there. That's the official tour guide to that tour.
There is a
Okay, well, I may need to see it myself then, because I don't know what
Okay,
might
approach.
be problematic. Yes.
Yes.
Can you hand it to me?
Do I need to?
So Love don't want that book introduced because it makes Thug look like a real artist and not just some gangster that they try to paint him as. And when you put that with a clean jacket, it really goes in the defense's favor, which means, you know, Thug could easily come home because you could persuade working people. And you start showing them pay stubs and timestamps and traveling expenses and effort and, you know, investment. It's hard to deny that. You know, these are Americans, right?
Third page, full page attorney would be the 6th page, if you were counting both sides. Page number 19. Do you see any dates of that rodeo tour?
Yes.
And can you tell the ladies and gentlemen jury, just read it to them, if you don't mind, the date and the city of the tour?
I'll wait from the
The
top. to the bottom.
entirety of
Yeah.
the tour dates?
Yup.
Do you want to just post that page?
No.
I don't have it on.
Okay.
No, say them
Yeah.
out loud.
Yes.
Also, this witnesses basis for knowledge of the specific dates. We would object unless there is a foundation laid for that.
Okay. Well, he said he went on parts of this tour and was familiar with the tour.
Mr.
So
Slade,
overruled.
do you feel comfortable doing that? And if not, just
Yes, I can read you the dates and
Actually, Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
May I approach you, sir?
Yes.
Mind if I read along with you?
Yes.
Okay. You just tell me if you could put it down.
Yeah. Look at Hilton's face. She like, what? If he read along with him? Yeah, he his father now. It still is gonna be his father. Let me read it along with you. So that way, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make sure that you you see what's going on.
I don't have very good eyes.
Me neither.
All right. I'm going to.
Let's read together. Cause I'm your grandpops now. So I don't got good eyes, but we gonna make it together. You barely read and I got bad eyes. So we put that together, we could be good.
Start here, okay?
Yes.
Saturday, February 28th, 2015.
Yes.
Santa Ana, California.
Yes.
March
15.
Sunday, March 15. March 1, 2015. You see that?
Yes.
Santa Ana, California show day.
Yes.
Monday, March 2nd.
Yo, cheating. Hilton, like he cheating. He doing his homework for his son. He doing his homework for his son. Can he do that, Love? Love, like, what? I don't know. She about to call an objection. Look at it, Your Honor, like, he can do this. Look, she ready to catch the objection early. Look at the judge. Look, Hilton is ready to try to call the objection, y'all. Love ready to try to call it. The judge on her heels.
Tucson, Arizona show day.
Yes.
Yes.
I told y'all. I told you.
Can we maybe give a summary of it?
Okay. Then the next one is
No.
the next day, the travel day, right?
Yes.
And then
Hey, yo, didn't I tell y'all at the beginning? It's going to get overwhelming when these people on that jury start hearing this boy's schedule. I'm telling you what I told you. I said, yo, they ain't even going to hear it all, yo. I don't think y'all really know. Like, people, bro, you see the judge trying to tap out, like, do we got to listen to it all? Nah, hell no. You let them say everything. We need to say everything.
it's March 4th, 2015, Denver, Colorado show.
Yes.
And then I'm skipping. March 6th, 2015, Milwaukee, Wisconsin show.
Yes.
So
This is in evidence.
he's confirming the dates. I mean, Mr. Steele is not testifying, so that's overruled.
Saturday, March 7th, 2015, Chicago, Illinois
Yes.
show day, and Rochester, New York as well.
Yes.
Sunday, March 8th, 2015, Chicago, Illinois, a show day.
Yes.
Monday, March 9th, 2015, Detroit, Michigan, a show day.
Yes.
Tuesday, March 10th, 2015, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, a show day.
Yes.
Wednesday, March 11th, 2015, Buffalo, New York.
Hey, yo, somebody Google and see how many total stops did the rodeo tour have that year, 2015. Somebody Google and type it in the chat. Let's see what time it really is.
A show.
Yes.
Thursday, March 12th, 2015, New York, a show
Yes.
or a concert.
What month are you going to get to before the list is over with? I mean, can we just say there were show dates
No.
pretty much constantly between X
No.
date and Y date?
Sure. It goes up to, is it fair?
No, it's not cumulative. It's pertinent.
Fair to say consistently through April 3, 2015. Is that true?
Yes.
And the cities that we left off at include Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
Yes.
Washington, D.C.,
Yes.
Norfolk, Virginia,
Yes.
Charlotte, North Carolina,
Yes.
the great city of Atlanta,
Boy, skip Baltimore.
great state of Georgia,
Yes.
New Orleans, Louisiana,
Yes.
Austin, Texas,
Yes.
San Marcos, Texas,
Yes.
Houston, Texas,
Yes.
Dallas, Texas,
Yes.
Phoenix, Arizona,
Yes.
San Diego, California,
Yes.
Los Angeles, California.
23 stops like Jordan. Then that boy get a Jordan deal. Damn. That's crazy.
Yes.
San Francisco, California.
Yes.
Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
Boise, Idaho.
Yes.
Travel home.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you need to see it, just let us know. Court reporter. Knowing Jeffery Williams since about 2009 when you were released from prison?
Yes.
How much you get paid per show? 23 times what? I'll wait.
And seeing him on tour throughout our country? How much time did he spend committing crimes on Cleveland Avenue?
Objection. Wholly and speculation and speaking as to a legal conclusion committing crimes that this should not.
Sustained.
Did District Attorney Love was having you, or you agreed?
Was Jeffrey obligated to market himself and promote before he could get on a tour like this? Meaning he was already told to get a buzz. So all of the social media stuff we seen was to get his buzz up enough so he could go on tour and further his career. And it was just marketing, and it wasn't to further a gang. Hence,
Sign that on April 28, 2015, it's number 5, that this drive-by shooting on April 28, 2015 was done on behalf of YSL to increase the notoriety, reputation, and fear of YSL. How many questions did she ever ask you at that time you were entering the plea, sworn under oath, about Jeffery Williams?
Were not asked about relevant comments.
Sustained.
By April of 2015, how wildly popular, from your personal observation, was Jeffery Williams?
overruled.
Very popular.
When you went to all of these cities throughout America with Jeffrey, how many fans would come?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled.
I mean, if he can estimate it, overruled on relevance.
20s to 30s to 1,000, a lot of people. Okay.
Were these concerts held in arenas?
Yes.
Number 6, it's on page 3. It goes into page 4, okay? Same document.
Page 6.
Going into, it's number 6. It's on the bottom of page 3.
Okay, yeah.
Same document. It's going to go into the next page, okay?
Yes.
You admitted committing and was convicted of aggravated assault and participation in criminal street gang activity, among other charges, and it goes on to the next page, for your participation in the drive-by shooting, and it says reference in 3, 4, and 5 above, meaning the April 28, 2015, right?
Yes.
Okay. Number 7, it says that you were told by another YSL associate that immediately after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., YSL associates met at the McDonald's on Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia to discuss the murder, right?
Yes.
Did anyone ever ask you any evidence that Jeffrey was at the McDonald's?
Improper question as to evidence.
Sustained.
Did Miss Love on December 28th of 2022 ask you, was Jeffrey at the McDonald's?
Objection again. An improper question.
Oh, that's overruled. Okay, so the entirety of the plea transcript is not actually in there. I don't know. What number are we on right now? 6? 7?
Yes.
So,
7 is in it.
okay, but we don't have the entirety of it. Overruled.
Did District Attorney Love ask you on December 28th of 2002, was Jeffrey at the McDonald's?
No.
You have any evidence that Jeffrey was at this McDonald's?
Objection as to that question.
Sustained.
Do you know personally, or what you were told is reference in number 7, was Jeffrey at this McDonald's?
No.
Number 8, you personally know that one or more YSL associates committed the murder of Donovan Thomas on behalf of Jeffrey. That's what you signed, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any personal knowledge that Jeffery Williams committed the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr.
No.
in any fashion?
No.
You know what a party to a crime is? You know what that means?
Overruled.
Yes.
Was Jeffrey,
Overruled.
do you have any information?
I mean, I'm sorry, sustained. Sorry. You may not ask that question. Mr. Steele's like, yes. Sorry, my bad. My bad.
He said overruled.
Sorry.
All right, number 9.
Oh.
See where I am, number 9?
Yes.
January 10th,
it's
2015. After the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., you and other YSL associates gathered at the home of Jeffery Williams, a.k.a. Young Thug, who gave you and other YSL associates cash money to lay low. You see that?
Yes.
You already told the jury, you made it clear that Jeffrey did give you $300. True?
Yes.
Because you feared for the safety of yourself and your family, right?
Yes.
Did anybody fire weapons, bullets into your home where you were living on June 10th, 2015, or the 11th, or the 12th, or the 13th?
No.
And then even after you received these, I think you called it anonymous statements that you and Mr. Copeland killed Donovan Thomas, you used some word. It was from an account on social media.
Yes.
What was your word?
The DM.
Yeah. Was it from what'd you say?
A fake page.
Fake page. Okay. When you got that, though, you made it clear that that bothered you because you didn't want anything to happen to your significant other or your child or anybody, right?
Yes.
Including yourself.
Yes.
And you didn't have money at that time because you lost money gambling. Is that true?
Yes.
And you asked Jeffrey and he gave you money for a hotel, right?
Yes.
And the expression lay low, I know you said it was to get your family members out of harm's way. I think that's what you said.
Yes.
But lay low could mean the same, doesn't it?
Yes.
It wasn't any type of lay low from the police or anything, right?
No.
It was be safe.
Yes.
Okay. My friend.
Do you have any information, personal knowledge to share with the jury that Jeffrey gave any money to anyone as a reward for killing Donovan Thomas?
Objection, Your Honor, that would call.
Overruled.
Overruled.
Thank you.
And I actually mean overruled.
No.
I'm going to go to number 10, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Same document, page 4. That you
I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for shining your light on me. It's been a long time.
You have personal knowledge that on January 10, 2015, after the murder of Donovan Thomas, YSL associates traveled to Miami, Florida, with co-defendant and YSL founder Jeffery Williams, a.k.a. Young Thug. I want to talk to you about that, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, you made it clear that you knew that Jeffery Williams was already going to Miami, Florida for a video music shoot. Is that, when I say shoot, filming it, is that true?
Yes.
And you knew that this was already set up before January 10th, 2015, right?
Yes.
And you knew other people were allowed to go if they wanted to.
Yes.
That Jeffrey was generous. He would take people outside of that.
Overruled.
Sustained, rephrase.
Cap.
Jeffery Williams gave people the opportunity to leave Cleveland Avenue area and see other parts of America. Is that true?
Overruled.
Sustained.
Cap.
Mr. Williams gave you opportunity to go, right?
Yes.
And others.
Yes.
Objection, Your
Oh.
Honor.
Oh my.
Was there anything that on the 28th day of December 2022 that you were asked as to why this was somehow criminal, that Jeffrey had this meeting, this work in Miami, Florida?
Sustained.
Were you asked? Were you asked any questions by District Attorney Love, Judge Glanville, or anyone, whether that going down to Miami, Florida, was not pre-planned?
No.
Number 11 says that you did not murder Donovan Thomas Jr. and you're not a party to that crime. That's true, right?
Yes.
Number 12, that you did not murder Mr. Drinks and not party to a crime. True?
Yes.
Okay. Number 13, on the bottom of that page, it says, you cannot truthfully assert that the persons charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. are not guilty of murder, and you will make no attempt at trial, prior to trial or after trial, to exonerate the persons charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. You see that?
Yes.
Now you've read this indictment. You've had it because you were charged in this case. Is that true?
Yes.
Are you familiar still with this indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you need it, with the court's permission, I have a copy if you need to see it. But you're not charged with the murder of Donovan Thomas in this indictment, are you?
No, not in this indictment.
Okay. And you're not, and Jeffrey's not charged with the murder of Donovan Thomas in this indictment, right?
No.
You're not charged with the murder of Mr. Drinks in this indictment, are you?
No.
And Jeffrey's not charged with the murder of Mr. Drinks.
No.
If you go to page 5.
Interesting. But if he pressed the button, shouldn't he be charged?
It's the top of page number 14. The gas station at 151 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia,
Interesting.
is one of multiple locations where YSL associates sell drugs and do not allow other gangs to operate. You see that?
Yes.
And then I'm just grouping it.
Interesting. How does that make sense? Let me know in the comments, y'all. If he pressed the button on both of them, how he not charged?
Together because they look similar to me. So if they're not, you just correct me. Number 15, the gas station at 221 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, is another location where YSL associates sell drugs and do not permit other gangs to operate, right?
Yes.
Were you ever asked any questions about Jeffrey selling drugs at either of these items?
I object on the grounds that Mr. Steele has no good faith basis for asking that
No good
question,
faith.
given the fact that he does have the entirety of what was asked, and he does know the entirety of what was asked. And so therefore, one, it's not relevant, but two, he doesn't even have a good faith basis for asking. So if you want to get in the entirety of what was asked, I would ask that the court just,
Overruled.
if he wants that in, to have him tender it, but not to ask questions that he knows he doesn't have a good faith.
I don't know what that means. It was not asked. And I'm asking the gentleman whether
She smoked another mouse.
he was ever asked that. On the record, off the record, it's not there.
Okay. I don't know if you meant on the record or off the record, but I'm going to permit it. Go ahead.
That have anything to do with Jeffrey?
No.
Were you asked anything from
No.
District Attorney Love when she had you under oath in a courtroom with your lawyer before Judge Glanville?
No.
Number 15. You have personal knowledge that you and other members of YSL have either participated in, directly committed, or at least one of the following crimes in order to increase notoriety and reputation of YSL: murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, attempted murder, theft, illegal gun possession, and illegal drug and sales. Were you ever asked anything about Jeffrey on December 28th, 2022 when you entered this plea?
No.
Now, you have been prosecuted before this case. By prosecuted, I mean you've been arrested, charged, and brought before a judge, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever, in your experience, have you ever been told that your plea agreement is conditioned on what you say at a trial?
No.
Have you ever been told by a prosecutor that she'd prefer you not say things in front of a jury?
I object on the basis of relevance.
Relevance in what? I'm sorry. Did you say something else?
Yes, question was, have you ever been told by a prosecutor something? I object on the basis of relevance. I'll stop at relevance.
Mr. Steele, would you like to address that?
Sure. Goes to the motivation, interest, and bias of the district attorney in this case.
Well, that's not an issue.
It always is an issue. Telling a witness
The
not
bias
to
of
do
this
something.
witness, maybe. Is that what you mean to say?
It's a party opponent.
No, sir. That's not how that works. So if that's your only justification for it, then granted. I mean, sustained.
Okay. I want to talk with you about some items. When you met Jeffrey, he was approximately 17 years of age. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And it's about 2009.
Yes.
And the way you remember 2009 is because you were in prison and then was released in about 2009. Is that true?
Yes.
And then you went over and found a place to live on Cleveland Avenue.
Yes.
So you met people who were in that area. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And Jeffrey was at times in that area, right?
Yes.
Did you observe Jeffrey working hard? Okay.
Sustained.
Did you observe Jeffrey practicing his craft, art, music?
Yes.
Did you see him in the studio? You ever see him in the studio?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that when you first saw him, to however long you've known him, he is a workaholic, meaning he works all the time?
I think on relevance, sustained.
You've seen him in studios in the morning time,
Yes.
afternoons,
Yes.
nights,
Yes.
evenings.
Yes.
You mentioned on direct examination that Jeffrey idolized Lil Wayne. You remember saying that?
Yes.
And that there was this these are my words, so you correct me. There's almost this belief, this feeling that Jeffrey had that he had to make it out.
Sustained.
You said on direct examination, meaning when you were questioned by Miss Love, that you believed that Jeffrey was going to be a popular.
Yo.
Relevance of about something he may have speculated about regarding.
All right, I don't know because I haven't heard the question. Could you tell me what the question is?
Sure. And it came out on direct that there was a belief by Mr. Sledge that Jeffrey was going to be a successful musical artist.
Okay, and
Way back when.
What's your question going to be?
That I'm going to follow that up. That was his drive. That was Jeffrey's mission, his drive.
Bro.
No, he's asking about this witness's belief about that, but that's irrelevant.
Okay. All right. Now, have you ever observed anyone or have you observed Jeffrey when you first met him? When you got out of prison, I think May 2009, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
He played in a lot of first local clubs, is that right?
Yes.
And when I say local clubs, in the area of Atlanta.
Yes.
And then you saw it go a bigger location, is that true?
Yes.
And then multiple states? This is his career.
Go ahead.
Yes.
And people, including you supported Jeffrey's musical career, didn't you? His personal observation.
Okay. Sustained on other people and sustained on relevance.
Would you observe, meaning did you personally observe the local community in Cleveland Avenue come out to Jeffrey's shows?
Sustained.
Would you see people, including yourself, put up signs that Jeffrey's performing?
Sustained. Move on to another topic.
All the people that you were asked about, remember being asked about Trontavious Stevens?
Yes.
And Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy and Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
And whoever you were asked about, okay?
Yes.
All those people were in poverty at the same time you and Jeffrey were, right?
Objection calls for speculation. Relevant as it relates to Jeffrey.
Sustained.
Were you in poverty in 2009 when you met Jeffrey?
Overruled.
Could you repeat the question, Mr. Steele?
Yes, sir. Were you poor? Were you struggling financially in 2009 when you got out of prison?
Yes.
All those other people that you're asked about on direct, were they struggling to your observation?
Yes.
Financially. Jeffrey gave you a job, right?
Yes.
And by that job, you called yourself, and I'm not saying that was not your title, but
Overruled.
you were called head of security, right?
Yes.
And by that, what that meant was that you would assist others in
We've
locating.
established what it meant.
I'm sorry?
We've established on direct what it meant, what his duties were.
You would assist in any capacity needed to put on these shows.
Yes.
And you got paid by direct deposit, it's called. Is that what you And if you don't know that term,
Yes.
you got a bank
Yeah.
deposit.
Transfer. Yeah.
Okay. And to your knowledge, Jeffrey offered other people jobs too from your area. To
Not
his
if
knowledge.
he says to your knowledge. That makes it not speculation. Overruled. Overruled.
Could you repeat it, Mr. Steele?
Yes, sir. To your knowledge, Jeffrey would give other job opportunities to other people too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So instead of giving money, you knew Jeffrey had money by 2014, right?
Yes.
And he was flying on planes, right?
Yes.
He had cars, right?
Yes.
He had places to live.
Yes.
He had multiple places to live.
Yes.
He had jewelry.
I mean, I think you've made your point, so just move on to the next question.
But instead of giving just cash to people, he gave people opportunity to earn that money, right?
Yes. Oh.
Okay. Now, do you have any evidence to tell this jury that Jeffrey ever told you or anyone else to harm another person?
No.
To your knowledge, and I am not including drug use, and I am not including gambling, but to your knowledge, did Jeffrey ever
You know what?
encourage?
Apparently we need to take a restroom break, so let's break for a few minutes.
It's crazy.
Let's chat.
Mr. Sledge, when you were permitted to go on the Travis Scott rodeo tour
Yes.
for the dates that the jurors heard,
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. On generally some of the dates, could you rephrase it?
do you remember on direct examination when questioned by Prosecutor Love, you explained that you went on the rodeo tour with Jeffery Williams and others?
Yes.
And do you remember telling the jury that you actually were sent home before the tour ended? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you said for doing stupid stuff. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that stupid stuff was committed a crime, right?
Well, I didn't commit a crime, but
Okay.
it was to that occasion.
And Jeffrey said you and others are going home. True?
Speaking of words, it was hearsay from the defendant that the witness is not a rule that there's no exception that would allow that hearsay.
Oh my God.
Sustained.
Why were you sent home?
Objection asked.
Who sent you home?
Jeffrey.
I'd like to show you, with the court's permission, I'd like to approach and show you what I've marked as Jeffery Williams exhibit number 220A. And it's consecutive, meaning it goes in 220B,
Yes.
but it goes up to JW exhibit 220XX.
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Yeah, these are the ones that I think mattering.
No, he's gonna. No. That's, yeah.
Approach.
You may.
Approach.
Yes.
Do you mind if I just move this? I give this to the court reporter, okay?
Yes.
So it says JW, Jeffery Williams, EXH is exhibit, and then you'll see the numbers followed by a letter. Do me a favor, flip through these. If you've seen these before with your lawyer and you recognize them, just tell us that as well, if you don't recognize some, put it to one side. If you recognize others, put it to a separate pile, okay?
Your Honor, and the question was if you've seen them before with your lawyer. That wasn't, I thought, the question that the court required.
If you've seen them before today.
If I've seen them before today,
Yeah, you may have seen them today. So if the only time you ever saw them was today, then put it aside as something you've never seen. What he means is if you saw it before today. Is that right, Mr. Steele?
Yeah, yesterday,
Okay.
Your Honor.
If you saw it before yesterday, that's when he gave it to him.
Okay,
Yesterday.
before yesterday. If you saw it before yesterday.
Mr. Sledge, I just want to ask you a question if I can. I'm not trying to interrupt you. Any of them that you saw put in one pile like you're doing? Any ones you didn't see put in another pile like you're doing? Okay, just keep them separate.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Lawn slime.
And then I
Like
know
my-
where you might be confused. It's going to be a composite exhibit, and he will publish, to the extent this witness says he recognizes any of them, a smattering of those, not the entirety of them.
So the only way they could have got this RICO is if they was making so much drug money, they was using Young Thug to wash the money through his rap career. That's the only way they could have got this. Or they had him on a wiretap telling them to go smoke somebody and I'm going to pay you. Or one of them told him, I went and clapped and knocked somebody's top off and Young Thug paid me. If we don't get these types of things, they did. That's a lot of whatever he looking at. What is that? What is that?
Exhibit number 222A through 220A through 220XX, or do not recognize them?
I recognize them.
Your Honor, the question was whether or not he saw them before yesterday, and that was not asked. So I would ask that be inquired.
Let's clarify, please.
Have you seen those items, all of them, in that package prior to seeing them with your lawyer yesterday?
I didn't see these with my lawyer yesterday, but I have seen these before.
In the past,
Yes,
before yesterday.
before yesterday. Yes,
And are they true and accurate? That's just saying, do they look the way that you remember them when you first saw them?
yes,
Did you see them, those items contemporaneously? That's a bad word. Did you see them at the time that these items were going on?
yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of Mr. Williams, and that would be, Your Honor, 2220A, as in Elisa, through 220, then double X.
All right, that's admitted.
Okay. Mr. Sledge, may I, with the court's permission, may I just approach you? And I'm just going to show a couple
Yes.
to the jurors.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Now, Mr. Sledge, is it fair to say that these exhibits, and I've numbered them all, but that they're all advertisements or posters for Jeffrey's work, concerts?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that they range from places all over the United States?
Yes.
And when I say range from, shows, concerts all over the United States. Is that
Yes.
true?
Yes.
And the date range goes from, this is just from 2014 into 2015. Fair to
Yes.
say?
Yes.
Okay. And if we could just pull up a couple. And this would be, with Mr. Kokomo's and the court's permission, Jeffery Williams exhibit number 220DD. And it should come up on your screen, Mr. Sledge. Could be, or it's maybe to your left, but yes, it's above you too.
Yeah, I think that one might be out of batteries. That's on the.
Yeah, that's indeed.
Mr. Kokomo, can you clear the items on the middle of the screen?
It appears that there's some encryption, Fulton County, on all of the computers, so I'm not sure if it's anything that can be done.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Let me just show you this. Sledge, may I approach you?
Yes.
I'm going to show you Mr. Williams or JW Exhibit 220DD. Take a peek at that. And is this a performance in Chicago, Illinois?
Yes.
And is it, do you recognize those performers?
Yes.
Tell the jurors who they are.
Birdman and Rich Homie Quan.
And anybody else?
Jeffery Williams.
Okay. And this is the date. Do you see the date?
Yes, December 26th.
And Christmas time?
Yes.
2015?
Yes.
To your knowledge and observation, and if you don't have one,
Yes.
I do not see, and so I would ask for clarification if the testimony is that there is a 2015 on this exhibit that I'm looking at, because there is no year of 2015 as Mr. Steele has suggested, unless I'm missing it. If you could just show me, I'd be okay.
first of all,
Yes.
it comes from the state of Georgia when they subpoenaed Mr. Williams' Twitter account for 2014 and 15,
Okay.
A and B.
Your Honor.
If I go through all of them, you can see the dates in order.
Your Honor, there is no.
I mean, I think that the objection was that the date might not be, the year date might not be on this one, and I don't see it on there either. So,
All right.
but but he's already testified that the entirety of that composite exhibit shows dates from 2014 to 2015. So it's one or the other.
Your Honor, there is a difference that matters. It's a distinction with a difference, because what Mr. Steele is putting up is a picture of Defendant Williams with a young man whom evidence has come out did not associate with Defendant Williams
Now I have
after a particular time.
Okay.
Now I have a motion.
All right. So we'll take up the motion in just a minute. With regard to this particular exhibit, I don't see a date on it either. Is there a date on it of a year? If not, maybe
I'll do
pick a
the-
different exhibit.
Fine. And Your Honor, can my motion be reserved this time?
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Slayton, may I approach you?
Yes.
Let's just flip a exhibit here. How about the next exhibit? Jeffery Williams exhibit number 220EE. Okay?
It says December 31st,
Let the
2015.
jurors see it first. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, go ahead. You can look. It's the same.
It says December 31st, 2015.
New Year's
New
Eve.
Year Eve.
And MYE, do you know that stands for New Year's
The
Eve?
E, yes.
2015?
Yes.
And did that come, this 220EE, come shortly after, immediately after 220DD of Jeffery Williams exhibit?
Yes.
And this one, again, the date on 220DD is in Chicago, and it is on, thank you, tell the jurors.
December 26th.
And does this help you orient that December 26th on 220DD is 2014?
No.
Okay. Does it help you with 220EE? Is the date New Year's Eve going into 2015?
Yes.
And who is performing on New Year's Eve, December 31, 2014, going into January 1st, 2015? Who are the performers?
Jeffery Williams,
Who else?
Birdman, and Rich McCorn.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Your Honor, regarding the objection as to the year of 220DD, I believe that Mr. Steele said the year was December 26, 2015, and that was where the issue was. I'm asking if now it's understood that it's 2014. If we could.
I don't know that we have that understanding because we don't have evidence that, I mean, I realize these are handed to the witness in a particular order, but I don't know that there's any evidence to suggest that the order that they're in is a chronological one. So we still don't have any evidence as to which of the 2 years that other one was. We just know that this one that we're looking at right now, 220EE, is for a concert date, December 31st of 2015, with those performers.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Did you want to ask him about another?
Yes, Your
Picture.
Honor. When you go through these, or you've gone through this,
Yes.
okay, performances, and the jurors will have that exhibit out with them. They'll be able to look at it. Are those performances all over the United States?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to, did your lawyer show you any potential exhibits yesterday or today?
He showed it to me today.
And I shouldn't have said yes, I apologize. All right. I'm going to approach with a screenshot. If you need to see the actual potential exhibit, just say I don't recognize the screenshot, okay?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm showing Mr. Williams number 647. 49. These are videos, but I was doing it this way, but if needed, Your Honor, Mr. Crocamo.
All right. You may.
Yes.
Take a look at Mr. Williams 49. 47, and 46. And if you need to see the actual items, there's no problem with the court's permission.
It's only with 3.
One more time.
It's only with 3?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Have you, do you know what they're screenshots from? Did you go over that with your lawyer?
I knew they was just professional people.
Okay. And have you seen those items before this week? Do you recognize those images from before this week?
Yeah, I probably seen them on, I think I seen all of them on the internet.
Okay. And when you say the internet, just be clear,
Instagram.
that's before. Okay, that's fine. But before this week, is that fair to say? Before
yes.
yesterday?
Before, yes.
Or today? Okay. And I know you're not seeing the exact video. Do you need to see those videos? Or are you comfortable, confident? How about that you've seen these items before?
Yes, I have seen them before.
All right, Your Honor, I move for the admission. Mark Jeffery Williams, 46, 47, 49.
Your Honor, with the court, I apologize. Would the court permit an inquiry into foundation? Because I heard the witness say, I think I've seen them. And then when Mr. Steele said, are you confident that you've seen them? He then said, because at first he said, I think I've seen them somewhere on the internet, Instagram. And then Mr. Steele said, are you confident? He said, yeah, I've seen them. So I would ask permission to inquire where it is or in what to further inquire as to his foundation.
No, because he's now said he's confident he's seen them.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
They're admitted.
Mr. Sledge, now, there may be something on the screen, it sounds like, that's not anyone's doing, so this may not be the best way to play it, but we're going to try, okay?
Yes.
Your Honor, can Mr. Kokomo, well, before he publishes, I know the first one is Jeffery Williams, 46. Let me ask you a couple of questions, Mr. Sledge.
Yes.
Do you remember the prosecutor asked you a lot of questions, or a number of questions, whatever they were, about if you know and if you've done the finger to the nose? You remember that?
Yes.
And she asked you to do it for the jurors, finger to the nose, right?
Yes.
Do you know who started? Do you personally know who started the finger across the nose, if anyone?
No.
Okay. God bless you. Is there anything about an individual taking their finger, like I'm doing, and going across my nose, that means that the person is committing crime?
Objection, Your Honor. Objection calls for a conclusion, a legal conclusion, and objection as to outside the province of this particular witness. It's an improper question to ask whether it suggests that they are committing a crime.
Okay. Sustained.
With the court's permission, Mr. Kokomo, would you play Jeffery Williams exhibit number 46? Take a look at it, Mr. Sledge. I'll have a question for you. If it's not going to work because the item up over the screen, we'll just do it another time, okay?
Is that
Yes.
box that says something about a hard reset? Just click close.
We don't have access to click close on our computers.
Well, I don't. Okay. Maybe. So what, it's on this screen up here?
It's on all the other screens.
Okay. I mean, because, IT. Okay. Yeah. I guess it's just somebody, if you don't mind rolling the screen over where the jury and the witness can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeffery Williams, number 49.
Becky Slime. Shout out to Becky Slime in the back. She know what it is. You know what it is. Yeah. Slime.
And did you hear?
Slime.
Do you recognize that person as a
Slime.
professional football player?
Yes.
You know who that person is?
I don't forgot his name, but
Okay. And was it similar to the wiping of the nose that you were asked a lot of questions about, or some questions about earlier?
yes,
Did you hear him say slime?
yes.
Tell the jurors why is slime significant to YSL?
Could you?
Is it evil?
No,
And the wiping of the nose, is that evil?
no.
I'd like to talk with you about a posting that you were shown. I forget the state's exhibit number. Give me 1 second. And was the other person Mr. McMillan?
Yes, that's
Mr. McMillan.
yes.
All right. Now, I'd like to ask you if you can hear and listen to the very beginning of state's exhibit number 437Y. Yes. Excuse me, 447Y. I'd like to ask you if you can hear at the very beginning, does it say, I'm a swear to God, it's the truth, I'm going to tell a lie on God. I want you to listen, okay, if it says that.
Okay.
So, nigga, a lot of they mama, a lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters.
Did you hear the beginning of that?
Yes.
Okay. And if you want headphones, the judge may allow that. The Honorable Judge Whitaker may allow that. But were you able to hear the person speaking?
Yes.
That beginning part? And did they say, I'm going to swear to God, it's the truth, I'm going to tell a lie on God?
Yes.
Who said that?
Hang on. Yes, no? Okay.
Who said that?
I think that was, it sounded like my voice. But yes.
Okay. So at the beginning of this video, audio, is it fair to say that you're talking about going to swear to God to tell the truth and then tell a lie on God?
Yes.
Was this video something about people who lie,
Yes.
even though they're under oath?
They don't have to be on an oath to tell a lie.
Now, the next part that I'd ask Miss Knight, the Honorable Miss Knight, to play should be Jeffrey speaking. And it's similar to what you said in the video we just saw. Okay. Does Jeffrey say, and listen to this, okay? So, and I'm just saying, and lie to their mama, lie to their kids, lie to their brothers and sisters, and get right in the courtroom to tell the God's honest truth. If you can just listen to that and tell me if that's what you hear Jeffrey say, okay?
Yes.
One more time. You can start at the beginning. I mean, it's so short. Can you stop it when that part ends? Thank you. You listen for my cue? Okay.
So, nigga, a lot of they mama, a lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters, they didn't get ready in the courtroom and tell the God honest truth. Fuck, nigga.
Was that Jeffrey speaking?
Yes.
And is that similar to what you said on the other exhibit, which is escaping me, the exhibit number? 435Y, State's Exhibit. Is that
Yes.
similar?
Yes.
And are those words that you said are similar words that you've heard before?
Yes.
Did you hear those words before Jeffrey said those words?
Yes.
And then on the next part of it, I'm not going to say it, but it's FN. Ain't going back and forth with you, bro. And then Jeffrey saying, or then another person saying, tell nothing but the truth, so help you God. If you can listen to that, okay?
Yes.
And tell the jurors who's saying that.
Yes.
Don't get it. Y'all niggas need to get fucking killed, bro.
You snitching bitches.
It's true.
Thank you.
God, that is true.
Fuck, nigga.
Don't get it. Y'all niggas need to get fucking killed, bro.
You snitching bitches.
From me and YSL.
Okay. Did you hear that? Tell nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Is it accurate to say that in the criminal justice system, from your upbringing and your observation, people come in and lie under oath?
Objection, Your Honor. That would call for speculation about other.
He says from your observation. Of course, I don't know how he can know that.
You know it from personal experience.
For speculation until there's a foundation established for his ability to answer that. A basis for knowledge, speculation about other people lying.
You can try to lay a foundation.
When you said this, when you were part of this, and when I say this, I'm talking about states 447Y, what's up there right now?
Yes.
Tell the jurors what you were talking about.
Talking about people lying.
Okay. Now, I want to show you. Your Honor, may I have one moment?
You may.
Still heating up.
I always forget.
Ooh, he putting the pressure on.
447?
Oh.
447Y that was shown to the jurors, the repost.
Yes, my voice on there.
Okay.
He picking up his pace so she can't object.
Okay. So on 256, JW 256, is that what you were just asking the questions about he was present for? Okay. All right.
With that, I have no objection if he's saying he was.
All right. Go ahead.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, Mr. Kokomo will publish Mr. Williams number 256.
All right.
A lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters, then get ready in the courtroom and tell the God that is true.
Fuck, nigga.
Don't get it. Y'all niggas need to get fucking killed, bro.
You snitching bitches.
From me and YSL. So, nigga, a lot of they mama, a lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters, then get ready in the courtroom and tell the God that is true.
Fuck, nigga.
Don't get it. Y'all niggas need to get fucking killed, bro.
You snitching bitches.
From me and YSL.
Mr. Sledge, did you hear your voice?
Yes.
The voice of Mr. Jeffery Williams and the face of Mr. Jeffery Williams?
Yes.
Did you hear the voice of Mr. McMiller?
Yes.
Did you hear the voice of Mr. Martinez, also known as Duke?
Yes.
Is it the same exact video that was played earlier as the repost?
Yes.
And on Jeffery Williams number 256, I'd like you to tell the jurors, it's small writing, if you could read it to them, what date at the bottom right was this made?
January 4th, 2015.
And on January 4th, 2015, what was Jeffery Williams' relationship like with Donovan Thomas from your personal observation?
Objection, vague.
Overruled.
They had a great relationship.
And does this video on January 4th, 2015 have anything to do, from your own personal knowledge from being in it, about Donovan Thomas or threatening some witness or anything?
No.
Objection one is compound, so I don't know which part of that he's asking about.
She's
And
a
then the
hater.
second part is speaking to the intent of Defendant Williams when he says, does it have anything threatening something?
Okay,
Has
well,
to be
it's
personal.
his personal knowledge, and while Mr. Steele does ask long questions, sometimes he has a lot of clauses in there. I don't believe it was a compound question, just had a lot of descriptive clauses. So overruled.
So the indictment, and if you don't remember, we'll show it to you. No one's trying to keep anything from you. Says that this was done 16 days after the killing of Mr. Williams, that it was reposted. But this was made 6 days before, God forbid, the killing of Mr. Thomas, right?
Yes.
Now, if you can look
Stolen.
at the very top right-hand side, you see where it says watch your post? You see that at the top?
Yes.
And then underneath it, it says watch your post, and then it says best said at MPA Duke, DUKE 1, the number 1, said it first. 3 exclamation points. You see that?
Yes.
Who, to your knowledge,
That boy looked like a low ass kid. Look, and somebody told him that Santa Claus was up there.
is MPA Duke 1?
Mr. Arnold.
Martinez Arnold?
Yes.
And then it says video by at thugger1 pound YouTube pound young thug pound thugger1 pound urban post. You see all that?
Yes.
Okay. And when it says best said at MPA Duke 1 said it first, that's Mr.
Yeah.
Arnold
Yes.
saying it first.
Yes.
Your Honor, as to that.
Yeah, sustained as to that.
All right. Now, I want to ask you other questions if I can. Before January 4th, 2015, were you familiar with this type of statement?
Yes.
Now, if a witness, when it says at the end, the prosecutor said, y'all should be killed. Let me make sure hold on one second. Y'all should be killed, and that's from me and YSL. Do you remember that?
Yes.
If I didn't quote it perfectly, something to that effect?
Yes.
Okay. From being there and being a participant in this video, which is 256, Jeffery Williams 256, what do you believe should happen to a witness who lies about someone in trial?
She should go to church.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. You were released from prison from the drive-by shooting. Remember, the jurors heard a lot about that, April 2015?
Yes.
And is it fair to say you were released in year 2019?
Yes.
And when you were released from prison, you needed a job, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. You were financially depleted. You didn't have much money?
No.
All right. And is it fair to say that Jeffrey at that time was even more popular than he was in 2015?
Yes.
And did Jeffrey offer you a job?
Yes.
Was it conditional? Did you have to promise something?
No.
How about no more crime?
No.
Are you withdrawing that objection?
Did Jeffrey tell you you can't commit crimes?
That right there is hearsay.
Told y'all.
Sustained.
When you were on tour with Jeffrey, and from your personal observation, so I'm not asking you what other people said or anything, did you ever observe people who would steal from other people, from stores or anything like that, and Jeffrey would find out about it and repay those people?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Sustained.
Well, I think it's relevant. You're the leader of a supposed organization.
I object on the basis of whatever this.
Damn.
I think it's relevant, more than relevant, to the conduct after this trial.
It's character. He's trying
That's
to
not
get into character.
Sustained.
evidence.
all right. Do you remember seeing in the days before Donovan Thomas was killed? Do you ever remember seeing, personally seeing, Mr. Kenneth Copeland with an Infiniti vehicle?
No.
When you drove Mr. Copeland to the police department on the early morning hours of January 11th, 2015, is that true?
Get him.
Yes.
And
Is that gangster?
your significant other, the mother of your child, was with you, as well as your youngest child at that time, right?
It was he ain't my youngest child, he my oldest son.
Apologize. Okay. And Mr. Copeland didn't have a car there, right? That's why you drove him? Am I correct?
He didn't have a car there.
Do you remember at all whether Mr. Copeland asked you to pick him up and drive him to Jeffery Williams' house with you for safety?
I don't remember that.
Okay. Do you know how, as you sit here today, do you remember how Mr. Copeland, if you know, got to Jeffery Williams' home on January 10th, 2015?
I don't know.
All right. Has Jeffrey ever paid for your lawyer fees?
No.
Has he ever paid for your bond?
No.
Your Honor? I believe, except for the, I have to break down the 62, which I probably can't do
62.
in a short period of time. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Well, so is your plan to?
I'll try to do it with the court's permission. I'll try to do it, Mr. Wright, and figure out if there's a quick way to get it through. I'm not going to speak with Mr. Slade. I don't mean any disrespect, but I'll go through his list.
Your Honor, would the court permit outside of the jury's presence for the question to be placed upon the witness so that the court can hear?
Sure.
That's
Yeah,
fine with
that
me.
may be a better way to do it. Okay. All right. So we are going to break for the day and for the weekend, and I am going to remind all of you to not talk about the case with anybody. Don't let anybody talk about it with you. You are only supposed to decide this case based on the evidence admitted inside this courtroom, so don't conduct any research on your own. Don't try to find out anything on the internet or from old school sources or from other people, from social media. Don't do research about the law. Do not read, watch, listen to any accounts of this trial
Can't do
online,
research
in
on
print,
law.
television, otherwise, radio, social
Why
media.
wouldn't you be able to
anything
look up
like
law?
that. And leave your notes in the jury room, and we will see you on.
Kokomo, have those. Mr. Sledge,
Yes.
I'm going to ask the court, there's no jury here, but we're still in trial, okay?
Yes.
I'm going to ask, with the court's permission, to approach you and show you, and I'm just going to pick out a few, and just tell me whether you have ever seen these postings online before this week, okay? Is that okay?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going to target a couple, but it's going to take me a moment, but I think I could target a few.
And Your Honor, if Mr. Steele would simply apprise the court and counsel for the state which ones he's targeting and approaching him with, so we could at least write it down.
I'm going to do that. Can Mr. Kokomo and I approach this for a minute, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Sledge, can we come to you?
Yes.
So we have a small screen.
And just be real clear of exactly what you're asking him. Not post like this.
We're gonna, Mr. Kokomo is gonna show you. Can you pull up the one that's, December. If you have not seen this, oh, I'm sorry, Miss May.
And
If you have not seen this before, you'll just tell us I haven't read it, I haven't seen it, okay?
Yeah.
If you have seen it and read it, just tell us I have seen it and read it.
Your Honor, could Mr. Steele place just on the record the one he just identified for Mr. Kokomo, but I could barely
in some
hear.
way. Or just
Say
spin
it.
around and show Miss Love.
If I could see it.
This is DMAC.
Just spin around and show Miss Love. It'll be easier than trying to. Some people's names or tags or whatever are kind of hard to read out.
If you have not seen this, just make it clear. If you have seen it, just make it clear. I'm just going to read it, okay?
Okay.
And it is, I'm just orienting myself. This is Mr. Williams' exhibit number 255A. And it's down here and it says, DMAC got me to banging at DMAC to banging. And you see the date?
Yes.
December 27, 2014.
Yeah.
And this is me, I'm not reading it verbatim, okay? And AN lie to they mama, brother, sister, and kids, but get to the courtroom and tell the God's honest truth, question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't get it. Or ION get it, hyphen at Young Thug. You see that?
Yes.
If you can remember it, if you can, it's fine. And just tell us, have you seen that before this week?
Have I seen it
That particular post.
this week?
No.
Anytime.
This week.
I can't even remember exactly what day I seen it, but I don't seen this before.
You have seen it before.
Yes.
Have you seen
Judge,
it before?
is he talking about that?
This
Have you
specific
seen
post.
DMAC got to me too banging on December 27th? That post. You saw that post.
I don't saw this post
All right.
before.
Have you seen it before this week, just to make sure?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We're going to have to mark that. Can you pull up the one that says, I don't know if, can I step back just 1 second here? No.
Yeah. This seems to be a convenient time. I don't know, is this like a scheduling?
Saying it's a violation of Brady, but it's just not the way, if believed, it's not the way that I was understand that lawyers conduct themselves. So I'm sure that I wasn't there. I'm sure that Miss Love will say whatever she says, or maybe say that didn't happen. But
Or maybe it didn't happen in quite that way. But I don't know if Miss Love wants to say anything.
I just want you to know that I cleared it with Mr. Wright beforehand, and he was on the actual Zoom. So I just want you to know that I didn't speak with Mr. Sledge without Mr. Wright. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Just a small follow-up. And of course, Mr. Wright will have the ability to say what Mr. Wright recalls, but I believe that Mr. Wright informed Mr. Steele before Mr. Steele asked that question that he has no recollection of that ever being stated by me to Mr. Sledge. But I'll let Mr. Wright speak for Mr. Wright. And I inquired, I know that I would not say that. So whatever Mr. Sledge said, Mr. Sledge said. I don't know how the question was posed. I don't, that's all right. It'll happen on redirect. We can flesh it out. But this notion about, all of that, Mr. Steele can ask whatever questions he wants to ask, and Mr. Sledge can answer however he feels he needs to. I'll handle that on redirect.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I have call me this false.
Right.
But my client has repeated how he heard it. I indicated. I heard her indicate. And she clearly didn't like the subject matter. But I did not hear affirmatively try to tell him not to disclose or say or secret it. So it's a slightly different situation of I'm lawyer and lawyer.
Sure.
And I think everyone knows I'm defense through and through. I would have no problem say that, oh, that's exactly what he said. But I would not simply say it because it would be helpful.
Of course not. I would never expect, of course, our sounds out again. But
it was at least a topic that wasn't something that I thought the state was going to do. I can't say I have a memory of her saying the specific instruction to Sledge that he remembers. Okay. But my client does, that's how he recalls it. So my client's not being untruthful in terms of.
Well, we're not gonna get into whether you think he's truthful or not, because that wouldn't be appropriate. But you can say whatever you need to say when asked. I appreciate you letting the court know and letting both sides know what it is that your recollection is.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, do you think that Mr. Wright will be shortly on the heels of Mr. Sledge?
Right on the heels. All
right. So you should just plan to stick around then, and then hopefully we'll be able to release you after that. Okay.
Hopefully I'm here.
All right. Anything else? Sounds out again. Maybe it's back. Is it back? Allegedly, y'all, they are coming early on Monday morning to replace either the entirety or something in this box. I think they've already tried several things. This is some new thing. We'll see, but
If I buy anything,
what you mean?
if I buy some,
Who is we? Court administration?
yeah, they, the people that are responsible for this, will they reimburse me if I
Miss Love, I cannot guarantee anything like that. I am still trying to get reimbursed for stuff from like 2 years ago. So, I mean, I wouldn't hold your breath. I wouldn't do that. If you plan to buy something, it'll just be for the good of this trial. It won't be. No.
Your Honor,
All right.
you
Yes.
allowed me to continue so I don't have to ask the jurors to leave, but I made a motion.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And Mr.
Thank
Matthews
you for
reminded
reminding me of that.
And what happened was, and please check the record, but what I remember happening was Ms. Love makes a speaking objection, comments, puts her own testimony before the jury and states that the testimony, that there's no evidence and it's already been proven. And I know that there's a strained relationship between Jeffery Williams and Rich Homie Quan. That is wrong. Rich Homie Quan has given interviews shortly after January 10th, 2015, all the way up to 2024, consistently how close he and Jeffery Williams are. The prosecution said that Rich Homie Quan, his real name is Mr. Lamar, that he was coming to court and he would be testifying. And the prosecution did not call him. He was on a short list. He was under subpoena. They did not call him. I have a good faith belief. They didn't call him because, what? I'm sorry? I have a good faith belief that the state did not call him because he gave exculpatory information about his relationship with Jeffery Williams. So for the prosecutor to then say in front of the jury, and please check the record to make sure that what I'm saying is what was said by Ms. Love, but I immediately would have made this motion if you did not allow me to preserve it. And a lawyer can't tell the testimony. This is what happened. Brian Steele knows this. That is untruthful. In fact, I know the opposite.
Uh-huh. All right. So my recollection is that Miss Love said that the evidence shows that after a certain date, one of the people in this picture no longer hung around Mr. Williams.
Okay, good.
That's a closer
That is not true.
account.
What the state was trying, their crazy theory, in my opinion, is that in the fall of 2014, Mr. Williams somehow cared about Rich Homie Quan signing with a third party. His name is Mr. Brian Williams, which is Birdman.
Right.
And somehow that because Donovan Thomas said, no, Mr. Rich Homie Quan, don't sign with Birdman, that Jeffery Williams has now a motivation to kill Donovan Thomas. None of that comes out. And it's untruthful. As you saw, they are playing together, they being Jeffery Williams and Rich Homie Quan, on New Year's of
Well, you know what?
2014.
There are plenty of band members who play together and hate each other. So them playing together doesn't establish anything. But,
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's all again. So, Miss Love, you maintain that it is in evidence. So, can you
That there was,
what part of the evidence and who said it?
yes, and I would ask if the court has in front of it my exact words, or if there's a way
I
to
don't
grab.
have
Okay.
your exact